ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, The Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Breakfast Bankroll with good friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew McInnis, live from Cape Cod, a sunny 75 degrees, August 25th, the last full week of August. Holy cow, summer is gone. Week 0 in college football. 1 month and 4 days. Bruins versus the Rangers. Yes, pucks, props, and thoughts will be back for sure. But the headliner today is the season on the line for Winnipeg Blue Bombers as they host Montreal, a wrecking ball right now. One loss this year. The old Winnipeg team, as a home dog here, would take this challenge and not only cover the 5.5, but they'd win outright. But it's a different year, so it'll be interesting to see what Andrew has to say about that. But first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, myself, Amber, Holly, Carol, Bucks, Matthew, Alan, Drew, Jacob, the list is endless. Download the app, jump on over to X, join the community at WagerWire, and while you're there, head on over to wagerwire.com/marketplace for some amazing tickets for sale. So without further ado, let's bring him in, Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up, Andrew?
Hearing you say the pucks, props, and thoughts is getting me fired up and excited. I don't want summer to end, but I'm following more hockey stuff, looking at more hockey stuff now. That's got me looking forward to hockey season a little bit more. It's going to be here before we know it, too. Like the second September clicks, Jeff, training camp gets going. All of a sudden, we're talking futures, we're talking lineups, and we'll be ready to roll. So let's hope we can keep building the bankroll with CFL. Use that as our summer tool to build it up for NHL.
Was going to use that as the headliner 1 month away, but I thought we'd have a troll that say, nah, it's a month and 4 days. So listen, mark it down. Next Tuesday, that will be the headliner. 1 month away.
1 month, and it's going to come fast. It's going to come fast, and I think that people are starting to find out the dates for. I always talk about every year. Every team does their golf tournament. Their golf day. That's the first day the players talk to the media. Then you have your fitness testing and all that stuff, and that I think a lot of that stuff starts like on the 10th of September. Then you have the 20th is like big training camp, and then you've got your exhibition games. Each team plays 3, so. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe next week, what I'm going to do, Jeff, come back on the show. I'm going to bring top 3 overrated teams and top 3 underrated teams. We'll try and stir the pot up a little bit.
Well, the year of Ovi, the year of the Capitals, we know that they're already going to be a liability as we speak. It will be interesting there. And my most interesting will be where Montreal goes this year. You've been sending, and as much as I want to say, you take that next step, and we'll talk about it a lot more next week. I have that feeling that we get the drop up. You're going to play probably as good, if not better, but I think the results might be a little less than obviously last year.
Well, no trades. The team is still not made a move. Fans aren't happy about it, as I've mentioned plenty of times. Apparently, they tried to have a big trade lined up at the deadline, but it never worked out because the old GM for Toronto submitted the trade late, and then he got fired like 2 weeks later because he was trying to trade away one of their players to Montreal. But then a big thing, people around them getting better, but also, and knock on wood saying this, a lot of the injuries they've dealt with haven't been to their best guys. Like, they're a Nick Suzuki injury away from not making the playoffs. And I know that sounds like a dark thing to say, but what I'm saying is that you need to have center depth. Like, they've got 2 or 3 guys that are going to be competing for that number 2 spot for the number 2 centerman. But when it ultimately comes down to it, they don't have that number 2 guy on a good team, on a great team at least. So I'm curious to see what ends up happening, because if you lose one of your best forwards, that shouldn't remove you from the playoff picture. But I feel like if Caulfield got hurt in October and he was out until December, good luck to them. They're, and that shouldn't be the case, right?
No, it shouldn't be the case. We're right, and it's just it's comical. I have nothing to look for. Like the Red Sox, our season was over and we had a miraculous, 33 comeback wins now, the most in the
Wow.
majors. But we'll get back to them. But the Bruins going to be a dark. Our colors are black and gold. Well, it's going to be a black season. Not much gold in Boston.
And I kind of think last year was the year of you guys making the playoffs and catching people off guard. Remember, you used to call him Greek geeky Gretzky. You got everything kind of go your way that maybe shouldn't have. But then this year is probably going to be the real year of the decline. So we'll see what happens with that. Florida's back. Tampa. Can you believe we live in a day that Tampa is a team that's being underrated? They had their coach just win coach of the year, and their goalie just won goalie of the year. But yet nobody talks about Tampa anymore. Nobody. Oh, the Leafs are back. Oh, Florida's back. Oh, Washington's got all these new players. Nobody's talking about Tampa Bay anymore. It shocks me.
Well, we will be talking next week, especially. We'll dedicate some hockey time for you. You had an amazing weekend in the CFL. When I'm expecting, shame on me to expect the Rough Riders to shake off the rust. They're now 6-4. My Elks are at 8-3 there. Here come the BC Lions at 5-5. Winnipeg now at 5-5. Calgary at 4-6. The Alouettes, clear champs of the other division, 9-1. Argos 5-5. Your Ticats at 4-7, and there are the Red Blacks at 0-10.
The Red Blacks, and you know what's funny is on FanDuel now, they've got bets available, Jeff. And I'm happy I remember to mention this. They've got bets available like they used to have up for the Cleveland Browns. When will the next win be? And then will they go winless at 15-1? So they've got, plus 500 here, plus 300. When's their next win going to be? So that's just goes to show how bad it's getting. The books are trying to make a profit off this now for us to pick when they're going to lose, or when they're going to win their next game. You got to respect what Montreal's doing. Obviously off a bye. I mean, they make it look pretty easy, but like this team, just the way that they operate, it's just a smooth operating machine. I thought Winnipeg looked a lot better. They had a really good start to the game, then it kind of faded. That was a nice play for us, plus the points. The funny thing is, when I was watching that game, I was like, oh man, maybe I should have sprinkled on the money line like you're supposed to. And then when they ended up losing, I'm like, all right, cool. We're happy we didn't sprinkle. We just got the point spread. So that was fine with me there. And the big one of the week for me, the 5%er, which is 8-3 this year on the 5% plays. The Toronto Argonauts won. I mean, that was the overreaction play of the week, right? Like the bet on the team that lost, bet against the team that won. So that was kind of the one that it just set up so perfectly. And the overreactions in general in the market. And the funny thing is, it ended up going to 3.5, 4 at some spots. Weather delay. God bless him, Gabe Morency. I felt so bad for him. I don't know if you watched on the timeline, but he didn't go to the game. He went back to the hotel, and the sky clears up. The sky clears up, and it stops raining. It stops thunder and lightning, and then they're just playing a football game in decent weather after it was just catastrophe for probably about an hour and a half, and then end up playing the game. I was worried about it because my main bet was the quarterback mismatch, and I was like, if he can't throw the ball, I could be in some trouble. And it ended up working out. And I gotta say, as much as not like I've taken any shots at Rourke, because I never wanted it to come across this way, but I've been caught on camera saying that Davis Alexander is kind of who the league wants Rourke to be. That was the best game on Sunday, Jeff, that I've seen Rourke play. And at the same time, I'm a huge Trevor Harris fan. That was the worst game of Trevor Harris's season. That might be the worst game of the last 2 seasons I've seen him play quarterback there for Saskatchewan. So he could have had probably 3 or 4 interceptions. I mean, if there wasn't for a couple drops from a couple of the guys on defense for BC, that could have been a really bad night for them. And when I woke up on Sunday, I'm thinking, all right, do I keep the 2-0? We had a 4%er and a 5% winner, and I was like, well, I kind of like some points in this game. Initially, I liked BC, and I was like, if you like points and you initially liked BC, we're taking BC at home. So you got the text from me, and we ended up just taking the Lions.
Great weekend. 2 games on the tap here. Friday night, 8:30, Montreal travels to Winnipeg. Right now, Montreal minus 5.5, a 59.5. Montreal minus 245 on the money line. Winnipeg plus 200. Like I said, this Montreal team, whether they play grab ass for a half and they start to lean on you in the third quarter and they open up the floodgates in the fourth, they've just been a machine. But we've been doing shows long enough to know this used to be the honey hole spot where Winnipeg would not just cover the 5.5, they'd win outright. A much, much, much bigger game for Winnipeg, not only here for the fact that a win gets them over 500 to 6-5, a loss gets them back to 5-6. I'm not saying I like Winnipeg plus the 5.5 here, but if I water gun to head, I would be on Winnipeg plus the 5.5. And yes, I'd be sprinkling some beer and pizza on the money line.
I think it's tough because, for example, you've seen me lose, having a good season in the CFL this year, one to be proud of, but you've seen me lose at least 2, 3, hopefully not 4 tickets, fading Ottawa, right? And that same mindset of not wanting to do that anymore is also the same mindset of not wanting to fade a team on such a roll like Montreal, and you've heard so many people say it over the years. Like, there's some teams that if I'm playing, I'm laying it with the favorite, or if I'm playing this game, I'm fading this bad team. And there's always times to go against it, right? And a big example right now, because I'm sure you've noticed it, is the unders. Like, ever since the week 4 to 5, 6, maybe the overs were on like a 64.5% run. It's now leveling out just like they always do. So that kind of worries me a bit. The thing with Winnipeg, I just don't know if they can go drive for drive against this team. Like, I know that sounds like a basic level of a handicap, but I don't think that they have the ability to go score for score. They're going to kick field goals, and Montreal is going to score touchdowns. And I think, the coaching staff for Winnipeg settles for too many field goals. We always talk about it, and I always say my co-host for my CFL show, Bobby, he hates the field goals in the CFL because you kick one, you're spotting the other team on the 40-yard line. which just doesn't make any sense. Sometimes these teams are better off punting than they are kicking a field goal to long term end up getting a touchdown. Something you mentioned to me last week, or it might have been the week before that, I was going to throw at you for this week, and I was going to say to you, which team has a better chance of messing this up? And I know it's definitely Winnipeg, but FanDuel right now shows minus 117 if you put two dance partners together with BC and Montreal. Minus 117 on that one. And the only team that's messing that up is Winnipeg, because Ottawa's not messing that up.
Gonna be interesting for sure. I'm on DraftKings right now, and the only other line that they're showing right now, Hamilton and Calgary, and right now Calgary minus 6.5, 59.5 there. Money line Calgary minus 298, Hamilton plus 240. Listen, I've been doing these shows long enough with you that I'm not running to the window to endorse Hamilton here, but whenever we see Calgary as a home favorite, I mean, I'll pull back the tapes. It usually doesn't end well.
It doesn't. And the big thing is the media gets super excited about them. They hype them all up. They're a better team when nobody believes in them. I've been saying that about Calgary for a long time. They're a better team when nobody wants to be on them. 100%. Number open 6.5. Now 5.5, some spots, one or two more sixes. So yeah, I'd look towards that. And an update on it is that we've gotten to the point in the CFL season, unfortunately, where a lot of our handicapping is revolving around injuries. So last week I faded Trey Ford for Hamilton. This week, Harrison Frost is most likely 99% going to be the starter, as it's been very clear that Scott Milanovich hasn't liked what he saw from Trey Ford. The funny thing is about Ford, and I'm going to give him credit for this, he's better when he comes into a game as a backup than when he starts the game. Like whenever he comes into a game and it's like a guy gets hurt or it's the third quarter and someone's not playing well, he always plays well. But when he has to play a full game, he doesn't look as good. And now you've got Harrison Frost. You'll like this one. The announcers are calling him Frosty the Throw Man. He's been pretty good, and he can actually sling it. They've got weapons, and Calgary gives up the second most passing yards in the league. You said it yourself. They're going to score, but they're going to give up just as many. So, I mean, it's hard to take and Hamilton's defense has been okay, this season. They're like number 2, I guess, against the pass. But Vernon Adams Jr. was questionable going into this week. Now, I've had a couple sources say that he's good to go. And this line, I would say, is a VA number, right? If we look at this, because there's not a chance in the world that any other quarterback is laying this number against them, right? But the funny thing is we lock in this number, Jeff. We're happy about it as it is. The off chance they end up saying, he's not feeling great at practice this week, we're going to give him one more week. That number is going to go down to 3.5, 2.5, and all of a sudden we've got 5.5, 6 in pocket. So injury-wise, I feel like it's a good, beneficial week. And people that watch me and you talk CFL together, they definitely notice that 1 week we're on one team, 1 week we're against them. Well, it's a 9-team league. It's how it works, right? We're betting the numbers, and this week is different quarterback, different situation. I liked the Argos last week, but I think this is a good spot here. And worth noting, we've got 259.5s for totals this week, and then you've got 261, 62s. So again, remember when the season started, it was like 54.5 was like a big deal. 56.5 was a big deal. And now it's been late 50s, early 60s. It's almost been the mainstay.
Yeah, the other two games you can give us the lines there, Argos and Rough Riders, and Lions and Red Blacks. What are the spreads on those?
Well, this is fun for me. I get to see your reaction now to these. Open 3.5, Argos and Riders. Now sitting 4.5 for the home team, Saskatchewan. BC and Ottawa. This was the puzzling one that had a lot of people shaking their head. Remember, I said before, certain teams you want to just be on one side of. Montreal, you want to be on backing them, and Ottawa, you want to be fading them. Opened 5.5, now pushed to 6.5. That one's interesting because, again, you've got BC in all kinds of different roles, right? Like, minus 2.5 is different than minus 6.5. Plus 4.5 2 weeks ago, which was crazy, is different than now minus 6.5. But they're playing Ottawa. The Saskatchewan one is interesting. They had one receiver, and don't get me wrong, I know a lot of this stuff is baked in, but in the CFL, you can't give the odds makers too much credit compared to some other sports that you and I bet. They had one receiver get back and be healthy for Saskatchewan. A couple other guys were still not healthy. They lost one of their better defensive players. AJ Ouellette, who I'm a big fan of, he was part of the reason me and you were on the Grey Cup ticket for them last year. Great running back. He's still out for them. Toronto was slinging the ball. I feel like the scoreboard people are going to like Toronto, but the bounce back people are going to like Saskatchewan, and the points people are probably going to like Toronto because they're getting 4.5 on the road. So what I kind of like in that game, if I were to take one over of the week, I think it would be that one.
Well, just when I anointed Saskatchewan a couple weeks ago, they've gotten into a rut. Toronto seems to be leaning in the right direction there. So, water gun to head here, I would actually be grabbing the points there, which means Saskatchewan wins by double digits, of course. And then again, the old 5.5, I would have respected BC at around 7.5, 8. In my mind, they wanted the BC money. They initially got it again, 5.5 to 6.5 there. Smells to me, but this Ottawa team, listen, BC's starting to cook with some Crisco. I like BC to win the game. Will they cover is the question.
I'm 0-1 on money line parlays this year in the league. Do we run it back with Montreal and BC? Like, I've got a big 5% play loaded for this weekend already. I don't usually put the big plays up this early in the week. Do we have me, you, and everybody watching the show right now? Do we sing Kumbaya and we lock in a Montreal and BC 2-team parlay? And the goal is that hopefully after Friday night, we're going into Sunday with a minus 120 bet on BC money line. That's the goal, is that we escape Friday night with a minus 120 money line ticket on the BC Lions. That's the goal with that.
Well, I do remember the first one. You didn't get through the first game, so.
No, we got to get through the first one to win the whole thing. And it wasn't even close, I don't think, either. I don't even think it was close.
It was confetti by halftime. So, yeah. Transition to baseball. Your Jays last week, the last 2 weeks were cooking with Crisco, as I like to say, but pull up the wild card standings as we speak. Kind of playing a little grab ass. 5-5 your last 10. Coming off a loss. 64-68. 2 games back in the third wild card spot from the Guardians. In the win column, tied with the Twins. 1 behind the Astros. Give us the temperature report on Jayville.
Runners in scoring position. I mean, we can't bat anybody in. That's the problem. Everyone's going to blame Schneider for not taking Soriano out of the ball game. People are going to get mad about Braden Fisher not being able to get that one last strike. Bases were loaded. 2 outs, full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. He was about to be the absolute hero who came in with bases juiced, no outs. And then they end up still giving up 3 runs in that inning. Like, that was the most torturous thing I've seen, Jeff. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. A guy's coming in, 2 outs, nobody scores, a strikeout, out at home plate, and the biggest thing is runners not being batted in. I mean, they can't get RBIs to save their lives right now. And that's one thing I just think is so interesting about baseball is that you could look at the stats overnight, and I know it's a long-term game. You could have a team that had 4 hits on the ball game. Another team had 11 hits on the ball game, and the four team could win 3-0. Whatever. It's all about clutch hitting, batting in runners. They're not doing it right now. And that's the weird thing is that if you look at that series against the Yankees, it's not like they weren't getting on base necessarily. It's just they don't have that clutch gene. And I don't know where we start with Vladdy. I don't know where we start with him. Like I part of me felt bad with how fans were treating him, and some of the podcasts I watched, they're defending him. They're saying, it's fine. He's still our franchise player. How can anybody be talking about him like that? Well, I can only imagine if he played for the Sox or the Yankees, he'd be getting the same thing, or if not worse.
Worse.
Yeah. Some people are saying, hey, you know what? He was injured in the offseason or he dealt with something. And you know what people are saying, which sounds bad, but it could be true. They're saying he's overweight. He didn't come into the season in shape. He's not moving, rotating his hips. I've been down some rabbit holes of videos analyzing why he's not playing well. But the thing is, Jeff, he had a 3-1 count or a 3-0 count, and he swung into a double play again. That's the problem with this guy, is that he doesn't want to walk, doesn't want to sacrifice fly. He wants to be the hero every time, but it's not like it's gotten to a point where Blue Jays fans are rolling their eyes when they see he's up at bat. It's not good when you want Bateman or Nathan Lucas up at bat over Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's probably not a good sign. So the big thing in Jays land right now, I'm sure you've seen all the graphics, is we're done playing teams with winning records. Well, now you got the Royals coming in that, let's see, 155 WRC plus over the last 6 games. Good luck with that. Max Scherzer on the mound. So that's the funny. Everybody's fired up because we're playing losing teams now over the next 30 games, but they have to go 19-11. They have to go 20-10. Am I wrong? That's going to have to be what it takes.
You're playing losing teams with losing records. Hey, guys, look in the mirror. You're 64 and 68 yourself.
Yeah, you are a losing record. Yeah. That reminds me of my summer volleyball team I had this year. We had a tough summer, and we showed up for a game. We were like 4-6 on the season. We checked the standings to see who we were going to play tonight. And then we were like, oh, good, we're playing one of the worst teams in the league. And then we looked and we're like, well, we're also one of the worst teams in the league. So we can't really get excited. We're playing one of the worst teams. We were kind of had a good team laugh at ourselves for that. But you're right. Look in the mirror sometimes because they don't have much to talk.
I know we started the show with a little hockey. We're going to do a little more hockey, of course. Next week is when we're inside the month to go before the first puck drops. We always talk about pucks, props, and thoughts, and I know it's been quiet, but I got to give you your due. You hearing anything, any podcasts, anything flying around the arenas, any Zambonis warming up?
I have a feeling that LA is going to be a big fade this year. That's kind of the latest news. I'll pull up their roster, but a lot of people are just saying that LA is going to be a team that's going to be slow. They're going to be lacking depth right now. Like you look, they've got Quentin Byfield, but then you look around the rest of their roster is just not that young, not that speedy. People have been talking really down on them. That might be a sneaky team to go against. As far as Anaheim, to give you an update on Anaheim, I think maybe we did talk about this last week, but Cutter Gauthier has denied a huge deal again with Anaheim. So this guy, I don't know what's the deal with this guy, but he refused to play for Philly. Then he gets forced into a trade to Anaheim, puts up a ton of goals this past year, and now he's like, oh no, I saw what Carlson signed for, so I want something like that. So I love seeing all these videos about my Montreal Canadiens and all these contracts. They've got Lane Hudson for under $9 million for the next 7 years, or actually, no, the next 8 years. That makes me feel pretty darn good, as he was voted the top 6 or 7 defensemen in the league, and he's making $8 million a year. But yeah, a couple contract stuff. I keep saying this to you, and hopefully I'm right. I wouldn't be shocked to see a couple trades in early September. And I'm not talking about like third or fourth liners. I think we might see a couple decent trades before the season starts.
Well, again, we got week 0 this weekend. We got CFL, of course, but Scroll has been going the whole time. But you got a big special here. Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, it's been a great season with CFL, and I almost considered laying off that BC Lions one on Sunday, but I love the spot, so we jumped on it. 3-0 sweep with the weekend. Could have just faded Ottawa to make it 4-0, Jeff, if we wanted to there with Montreal earlier in the week, but plus 44 units on the season, 44.82. That's 62%, 63%. 30-18. The ROI is what I'm really proud of. 26.8% ROI. People that are buying, people that are subscribing, they're getting their money back. They're getting their money back from the picks they bought, plus a lot more. But the 5% plays, that's what everybody loves. 8 and 3 run, 23 units on these. You guys can use the code CFL50. Very simple, for half off. 50% off this deal, and you got to go to my new link at pnp.buzz/am, and everybody join me on the CFL, because I'll go through baseball. We'll have some wins, we'll have some losses. I like to tread through. I get an action with baseball, but we know CFL is what we've been doing all summer. And hey, nearly 45 units through 12 weeks. I can't ask for much better than that.
Absolutely not. Go follow Andrew, of course, on X at McInnis Picks. Head on over to Wager Talk, wt.buzz/A&M. Excuse me. Take advantage, guys, of this 50% off. Don't be a fool there. 12 o'clock, 50 minutes. Myself and Scotty Webb will be back, of course, for MLB Tuesday, re-entry Tuesday, as we talk about what's going on over the weekend and Monday, and get you caught up in today's MLB card. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks, wish everyone a blessed day. Go get yourself a coffee and a bagel, and stay tuned.